Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Simple Tactics. This is going to be my second video for the night, just trying to catch up with pretty hectic work week. If you've been to our website, you've seen this build right here, right? And I built this thing for 970 bucks. So we're going to talk about that. Really want to get this video out there. I've been promising it for a long time, but what I want to do is talk about this setup right here. This is my first build. It's a AR-15 and pistol chambered in 300 blackout. I want to talk about how you can build this yourself for under $1,000. If I were to buy everything, or if you were to go to your gun shop, you'd probably find a build like this or similar to this for around $2,000 to $2,200. So let me help you save some money, save some time, so that way you're not overspending and you get the build that you want. So this video is really geared to those first-time builders, and hopefully there's something that more veteran builders will find value out of this. If there's any tips that you want to share, please leave it in the comment section below. We'd love to hear what your opinions are and help us and help the community future builds. So appreciate it. What we're going to do is we're actually going to start with, let's start with the upper, and then we're going to move down to the lower. So for this particular build, I went with a upper and lower combo, the Aero Precision M4E1. I wanted to go something that, in my opinion, was a mid-tier. I already have an Anderson build. I really wanted something that was a little bit higher quality than that build itself. And so the upper, retails about $94, and I didn't get it on sale, didn't get any discounts on that, so paid 94 bucks I think for that. But if you're familiar with the M4E1s, you know that the upper comes in two different variations, threaded version, and then there's the enhanced version. The threaded version is going to accept any barrel nut or any combination handguard that you can think of for this receiver. The enhanced version, on the other hand, is really going to be proprietary to Aero Precision's handguards, which me personally, I didn't like the designs of the Aero Precision handguards, so that's why I wanted to go with the threaded version. However, the enhanced version does have the mounting platform for the handguard, and the barrel is forged into the upper receiver itself. What Aero Precision is stating will help improve accuracy. I'll tell you, I'm not a competition shooter, so at my skill level, I'm not going to notice the difference between having a threaded version and the enhanced version. So maybe folks out there will notice the difference, but for me, at my current skill level, this worked out fine for me. For the bolt carrier group, did a lot of research. There's several different bolt carriers out there through the forums and the articles that I read. What I ended up doing is actually taking a tally of what bolt carrier groups got the best reviews and what kept popping up on a top 5, top 10 list. So one of the consistent repeats on that list was PSA. And I think BCM was another one. Aero Precision obviously was another one. Just looking at the specs of what PSA had, it met the check marks. It was, for me, I was looking for something that was Carpenter 158, that was high pressure tested, that was magnetic particle inspected, and on PSA's website, that this particular bolt carrier group, which is the full auto M16 bolt carrier group, got, gosh, I want to say about 1,400 positive reviews and averaged about 4.5 stars. So I felt like that was a solid bet for me. Couldn't go wrong. The bolt carrier group, I think I got it for $90. For the upper parts kit, nothing fancy there. I got that from Aero Precision. It was about 15 bucks on their website. So came with the forward assist, came with a dust cover, and all the parts and springs that you need to complete the assembly of the upper receiver. Let's go forward to the barrel and the handguard and the muzzle brake. So for the barrel, I went with a Ballistics Advantage barrel. It's a 9-inch. Is a 1-in-7 twist. I went with a 9-inch because of the data that I found online stated that this length provided the shortest barrel required for the maximum burn of powder for 300 blackouts. I wanted something that would be sufficient in both super and subs. When I get ready to add a suppressor in the future, I have something already that will perform adequately for that. And I know that there's plenty of different variations in barrel lengths that folks are shooting suppressed with. Again, for me, I wanted to go with a safe bet. I found some, like I said, some data online. I'll see if I can find it and link it below. That backed up that the 9-inch barrel was the most adequate for the combination that I was looking for. The handguard and gas block I got in a bundle from Stinger. This is the Stinger Raptor. It's a 8 1/4 inch handguard, which was not actually my first choice. It was actually my second choice to their Hawk handguard. But the length the Hawk handguard came in was 10-inch, and I thought with the cutouts, which you can see in the picture above, would be sufficient enough and not be a safety issue with the ports on the muzzle device. But however, where the Picatinny rail is, and the Hawk actually covered the top ports of the muzzle device or the muzzle brake, and I didn't want it to be a safety issue. So I do have to give a big shout out to Stinger. I reached out to them to request a replacement. They approved it within an hour of requesting it. Their customer support team agreed, so that could be a safety issue, so no problems. They switched it out, and by the time I packaged it up and returned it, I had the new one in hand probably within 5 days. So really quick turnaround. Just I can't say enough, the customer support at Stinger is just outstanding. So like I said, Raptor 8 1/2 inch, or I'm sorry, 8 1/4 inch. I got this on sale, I think, for $140 with the bundle. The bundle included the handguard, it included the gas block, and it included some extra M-LOK mounts for this Picatinny M-LOK mounts that I can mount on the sides here. Can't complain at all. Love the handguard. It's great. The gas tube, nothing fancy. It's an Anderson gas tube. I think I spent $6 or $8 on it. It's a pistol length. Lined it up, no issues at all. Installing it, or installing the handguard for that matter. Everything was such a breeze. For the muzzle device, like the upper and lower receiver, I did go with the Aero Precision VG6 Gamma. The reason I went with this, and I actually didn't have the intention to go with this, I was going to save some money and just go with a cheaper muzzle brake, but I did find this one on sale. So this retailed actually for, gosh, I want to say it was $85, and I ended up getting it for 35, maybe 40 bucks. I caught it on sale, which was great for me. So as soon as I saw it, I pulled the trigger, and that just allowed me to get put $40 into something else that I wanted. I do want to say something I didn't know, even as a first-time builder, and what I didn't find out until I was doing some research on how to install the muzzle brake, was understanding the amount of torque and the amount of turn you want on this when doing the installation. So when I went to install this and I hand tightened it, I noticed that I had at least 3/4 of a turn that I still needed to do on this. And some of the instructions that I found, I was actually in danger of over tightening the muzzle brake to the barrel, so source shims for this. So I went with a company called Downrange, and they make shims that compensate for 3/4 turn, half turn, and quarter turns. 10-15 bucks, I got 10 different shims from them that I would compensate for how much turn that I need. No, I didn't use all the shims, but yes, I have plenty of extra for future build. I needed those shims with something that I didn't know prior to this build that I learned as I was going through this. Kind of moving back a little bit this direction towards the brace. Let's talk about the Optic real quick and the sights. So the sights I went with, these actually came off my Anderson build. And I really wanted to test these out because I was having some issues with the sights on the Anderson build. So I actually threw them on this to see if it was an issue with the build, the Anderson, or if it was an issue with the sights themselves. So we'll get into that at another time, but I threw these on there and I actually really liked the FDE look on it. I'm sorry, not the FDE, but the OD green look. That I actually went with the OD green charging handle, and I actually swapped out the pistol grip from my other build onto this one. And there's another reason for that, and I'll explain that as we get to it. But for the optic itself, so this is a Vortex Strikefire 2 optic. I really wanted to go with the Aimpoint Pro because I liked how the Aimpoint Pro looked, the field of view that I was gonna have with it. I couldn't find that optic for under 450 bucks. And if my goal is to build this thing for under $1,000, that already took up half my budget, so that wasn't gonna work. So what I ended up doing was some creative resourcing or creative sourcing, and I found this optic actually, and don't judge me, don't judge me. I actually found this optic on OfferUp, retailing for, you know, $250, you know, $200. I picked this up for $100. You know, maybe over a beer one day we'll talk about how that deal went down. Yeah, $100. And I'll tell you what, like everything on this optic is great. I really love it. And it's perfect for me. It's a 4 MOA. And this is the red dot version. They do have a red dot and a green dot version of this, which I'll link it down below. You can check it out. Absolutely great optic. No problem with the installation. Mounts up pretty nicely. Like I said, over a beer. All right, I'm gonna have to hurry up through this because my camera's dying. For the charging handle, I went with the Strike Industry charging handle. This is the latchless T-bone. Picked it up for 30 bucks. Went with this one mainly because it was in stock, and the second is because I wanted to get something in OD green. So 35 bucks. For the castle nut, the buffer tube, the buffer assembly, I believe it's an H1 buffer. Everything with the end plate. So the end plate does have the quick detach in it. I want to say altogether maybe 25 bucks. It's just mil spec, nothing special there. Went with the SB M4 brace. I actually got this one on accident. I thought I was getting the SBA, but I did get the SB M4, 70 bucks. I thought I was actually catching the other one on sale. Well, regardless, this is a pistol build, so you can't shoulder this. So to me, it doesn't matter. It's going to stay in the same position regardless. So for me, I actually saved some money and it actually worked out perfect. For the lower, we went with the M4E1 lower. Actually got this locally at a store for gun shop for 120 bucks. To me, it saved on the FFL transfer fees and the shipping fees, which I think probably saved me about $30, $40. The lower parts kit is the M4E1 lower parts kit. I did opt out and use a different safety selector that is ambidextrous. But everything else, Aero Precision, the lower parts kit was about 45 bucks. It did come with the Magpul MOE SL grip. I did not like that grip on it because it did not marry up to the lower as close as this one did. So I actually swapped this out from my other build and put it on here, and actually I like it. I think it looks a lot better. For the trigger, I went with a PSA 3.5 pound pull single stage trigger. I did go with this one because it was at a good price point at $100 versus the Rise Armament or the POF trigger, which would have put me $120 to $250, would have put me over my budget. PSA trigger, read some reviews on it. Really great trigger. It does have a crisp and clean break, so installation was a breeze. It came with the anti-roll pins. Threw this in a matter of a couple of seconds. One thing I do want to shout out to for Aero Precision, if you are looking at the M4E1, it does come with an integrated trigger guard, which makes it very convenient. Overall target for this build was to get it under $1,000. We met that target. We got this at 970 bucks. If you have questions, comments, think of something that I could have done better, or something that you want to share to the rest of the community, or something that you think was would be more effective, hey, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And we'd like to integrate that in future builds as we get to them. So really appreciate your time. If you haven't done so already, we ask you to hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, hit that notification bell. We're gonna keep putting out content, so if there's something that we're not pushing out that you wanna see, let us know. Appreciate your time. God bless, take care, and we'll see you next time.